Hello. I'd like to present some ideas around independent learning and the expert learner, what this means, and this is how I'd like to sort of present how using technology made me think differently about learning and teaching up in the northeast of England and elsewhere. We started off with a pilot project, which we simply called Amigos. And this was with a partner in Galicia in Spain, La Coruña, and using Skype for language learning. This was one of our projects, and this is linked to Moodle and our Moodle site, or VLE, which is called TeaseLearn. Another aspect of the project, another partner in fact, is which is Amigos en France, which is another pilot which was in the l'Institut Municipal d'Éducation Permanente, which is in Bourges. We've also got some work, looking at work with Amigos in Russia, with a city called Kostomy on the Volga, and we just started a very small project with a German partner. Okay, so linked about the concept of the expert learner. We could talk about this for quite a while, your opinions, what you think the expert learner is. But there are a few questions to think about. How can technology help to give learners a voice? How can learners use technology to help themselves learn? And how can we use technology to support learners reflect on their learning? The expert learner in different sectors has different meanings. In a university, it's simply knowing where things are, how to access things in the library. With adult education, which is our sector, with adult and community education, there are different challenges, in my opinion. For example, the word peer support is not a new phrase, it's much more relevant nowadays, in my opinion, because the Skype project that we're looking at, we've seen an awful lot of peer support. For example, come to our house. I have a nephew in Canada. I can show you how to use Skype. I'll show you how to download Skype onto your laptop, onto your PC. This is a strand in the project that's has been very interesting. We've noticed that the learners are helping each other, as well as us providing support for the learner. So it's extremely important. Ofsted had picked up on the practice. It's been recognised for TeaseLearn, which is our VLE. I mentioned a case study asking the question, what makes TeaseLearn special as a VLE? We've got a little concept of an idea called an emporium, which is where we have a resource centre, in fact. So tutors can upload and do upload resources here. Learners upload resources here, and they can be used by any tutor or any course to extend or reinforce activities. And it says here that these useful sites are well used by learners, and that's true, they are. Again, Ofsted have quoted that are partly aimed at encouraging the expert learner, and this is where, if you look at this phrase, who can relatively easily direct their own learning. Relatively easy once they know. So it's about encouraging independent learning. Other comments from Ofsted. We've created a number of resources for VLE crafts and languages. Active participation in sharing cultures. Learners have been participating in Amigos, we mentioned. TeaseLearn is a portal for independent study. Language learning is about independent study. 2 hours a week clearly is not enough, as it is not with most curriculum areas. I've highlighted a couple of comments from Ofsted again here. Benefits for learners, Teesside Broad. It says, amongst other things, the project hopes to make language more authentic and interesting for learners. Exactly, because if you're face to face with a native speaker, it's real. It's authentic. It's not textbook. It's ideal, and if you see as we go through this presentation that it is peer support. A spin-off from this type of venture is that learners also extend their understanding of technology This is what we say, developing the expert learner. They will understand how to download Skype, how to use some of the social media tools that are available to benefit their own learning experience. More offset interest is to encourage growth and creativity. Don't stifle work with policy procedures. Get the learners to push. So learner push, this is another phrase I've picked up. Push online learning with the teaching staff. It's often the case that it's learner demand, but it's now tipped. The scales have tipped towards the learner. The learners are bringing in ideas. They know how to use technology, or they can help each other with it. These are examples of this, the learner push. We have a little project starting now with Amigos in Japan. The learners in the Japanese classes, we've got their own Facebook site, and we have a wonderful example of a video podcast with one of the learners called Betty. She calls it Betty Bush TV. She has created her own lessons from information she's got from a tutor. These are available on YouTube, and people are sharing it. It's tremendous. This will be developed without doubt. Wonderful idea. Another example is from a Greek class that, let's just say, a person who is literate, very literate, worked in the IT industry, had created a blog using all of the course information he received throughout the course of the Greek for Beginners class, and after that, in fact. He made this available as a blog to his colleagues in the class, and consequently the tutor is now using that as a course book. This has now been left on as sustainability, because it's now available for future classes. And to be fair, the tutor is not the easiest tutor to engage with the technology, so it's worked that way. Again, it's a demand from the learner. Very interesting. Independent study, of course, there are many possibilities now. We need to look at these for inclusivity, to include everybody. I have a learner in Indonesia just contacted me who's coming back to the area, can't get to this term, wants to do some study before she gets back to work in the area in January. So, of course, there are possibilities there. In the northeast, of course, we also have lots of offshore workers, people doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. They're buying property in Spain and so on, so they want a bit of Spanish, a bit of French, whatever they're doing. Lots of distance learning models, of course. Open University is leader. There are models of blended learning from Newcastle City Learning, doing a wonderful job with some Spanish classes with remote tutors. We need to look at this and the problems that go with it. Do the learners know how to do this? Do they want it? Are the learners asking for it? Here we are, rethinking. It's all about rethinking how we do this. There are issues involving teacher training. Do we need to get more e-learning involved in curriculum with our teacher training programs? It's a culture change for a lot of people. It doesn't mean to say that everything has to be done by technology. It isn't, of course. Funding's always an issue. Funding for equipment, and where will we end? It's the learner that's asking. The learner's got the power to demand. So we need to develop these learner-led courses, and this is happening certainly now. The traditional historical curriculum is not from September now until June, if you like, or July. It's not that we've just finished the summer school up in Middlesbrough. If the learners are there, we'll put a course on. It's about how we can get learners to support each other, and how we can develop blended and distance learning, and getting these opportunities for informal learning identified. Of course, technology, breaking down the barriers between the older learner, really. I've noticed the Spanish learners, maybe it's age again, I'm not sure, but Spanish learners seem to have more knowledge. They seem to be ready to to engage with the Amigos project rather than more than hours at the moment, but that's changing hopefully. And make sure that they are, well, this is sustainable. These are positive outcomes. It is sustainable because they continue to study, and as I say, learners are starting this project and continuing to talk to each other, which is, as you can see here, a clear increase in language skills. This is so obvious. And this phrase, intercultural knowledge transfer, it's from the horse's mouth. You're talking to a real person and you're learning what it's really like in France or in Spain or whatever. Little problems with matching and mismatching, such life. You can do your very best. Safeguarding issues are of course top of the list. Every page in our VLE has a safeguarding button. We've had no reports of any problems there so far. The level of study is interesting. Both native speakers, of course, the English speaker studying French, for example, might have a lower level of French than the French person studying English, in the sense of the French person has probably studied English a lot longer anyway. That seemed to be an issue at first, but overcoming this issue, because they need to realise that they're both native speakers. Freedom of technology clearly has been an issue, but with peer support this can be overcome. This is a new project called the It's pronunciation of Latin, who knows, but it means onwards and upwards. So the next steps, possibilities from the use of Skype and peer support and independent study, and how do we ensure that these resources are made available and used effectively. Only by looking at such as European funded project we can evaluate and make them sustainable to encourage this independent study. This is sharing good practice now. We do this constantly. We work with other adult education organisations, for example in Luton. We're also working with Luton quite a lot. We work within the North East. I work with Durham quite a lot. ELSIS had this wonderful exemplar project, so it's still on, still available, but there needs to be more of that. The Emporium and Learning Resource, we need to develop more of shared resources. Hence we've got a project funded by JISC, which we should help to sustain these resources. It's about sustainability. We've also got to do some work on independent study in the sense of kind of a drop-in. In France they have this wonderful facility where learners can just drop in and have some advice there, a bit like a library really, but they can drop in and out, even in the lunch hour sometimes, just to keep the study going. Cross-curricular boundaries is a challenge, but we need to get the coordinators, management on board with the concept of the expert learner. We make sure that everyone's supported in using the tools available. It used to be called harnessing technology. It's the same idea. So who's leading on it? As I say, it's the internal leading. There's got to be somebody within the organisation to develop the skills of the expert learner and making sure that the learner voice is inclusive. They are involved in the development of the curriculum.